Manufacturers of double glazed units that are members of the Insulated Glass Unit Manufacturers Association, IGU, must meet rigorous standards. The IGU testing regime consists of tests for long-term durability. Each distinct double glazing system must meet the requirements of the internationally recognised European norm EN 1279 glass in buildings. BRANZ completes testing of their insulated glass units, called IGUs, at our modern labs near Wellington in New Zealand. When IGUs arrive for testing, we store them and complete the tests in a purpose-built climate-controlled laboratory. This maintains a temperature of 23 degrees centigrade and the relative humidity is controlled at 50%. First, the units are unpacked, visually checked and numbered. It really helps if the shipping crates are screwed rather than nailed together. This also reduces the chances of damaging the units while trying to open the boxes. Once unpacked, the units are stored in purpose-built shelves prior to testing. The climate tests begin with a check of the dimensions of the units. These are measured with vernier calipers and the dimensions must be within 2 mm of the defined requirements. Once dimension checks are complete, each unit is then tested for dew point. Dry ice, solid carbon dioxide and isopropyl alcohol is used to cool an area of the unit down to -60 degrees centigrade. The mirrored test cell allows any condensation that forms to be easily seen. The European norm defines which units are aged based upon the dew point test results. The units for climate aging are loaded into the climate chamber. The climate controls both temperature and relative humidity. It automatically cycles between set points defined in the standard if this is required. Units spend from 3 weeks up to 11 weeks in the climate chamber depending on which EN 1279 test is being done. Argon fill and argon retention are also tested if these are manufactured. The spark-like device allows the argon concentration within the unit to be tested without the need to open the unit or breach the unit seals. We also have standard argon gas mixes so we can check that the spark-like device is working correctly whenever we are testing. After climate testing, the units are opened by cutting the primary and secondary seals away from the glass. This allows us to extract the desiccant from the rigid spacer or take samples from the tape spacer. The opening of the units and the sample collection is done as quickly as possible to prevent the desiccant materials picking up water from the atmosphere. Desiccant from the rigid spacer-based units is tested at BRANZ using a furnace to completely dry the desiccant and an accurate balance to weigh the desiccant before and after drying. Small samples are taken from the tape spacer products and sealed in airtight bottles for subsequent testing. These tests are completed using a Carl Fisher tester as required by EN 1279. The tests are undertaken by a local laboratory in Petone near Wellington. The moisture content measurements on the desiccant and on the tape are used to determine if the units have met the requirements given in EN 1279. The standard sets out a calculation that uses the amount of water in the desiccant or tape from the climate age units, the amount of water in the desiccant or tape from the other units from the batch that were stored in the lab, and the maximum amount of water that either the desiccant or the tape can take up. These maximum amounts come from either the standard or from the supplier of the products. The calculation gives a result called the Moisture Penetration Index, or MPI. EN 1279 sets limits for the allowed MPI for each climate age unit and the average across all the age units. Simply, if too much water has been allowed to enter the desiccant or the tape during the IGU manufacturing process, or water has been able to enter the units past the seals during the climate aging cycle, it is unlikely that the unit will pass the test. Another key test completed on IGUs is the UV fogging test. This exposes units to ultraviolet light and heat while chilling an area of the glass using a cooling plate. Volatile materials within the unit condense on the glass near the cooling plate and are visible by eye at the end of the test. These volatiles can comprise oils or contaminants. They can adversely affect the adhesion of the primary and secondary seals to the glass. The UV fogging test provides a quick method to check for contaminants and is useful in ensuring they don't contribute to issues in the other IGU tests. So, in summary, BRANZ supports IGU members by providing the tests that ensure all IGU systems are up to the mark.